Welcome back to Resistance Chicks. We're your hosts, Leah and Michelle. Today is July 23rd, 2017. It is a Sunday. So raise your hand if you realize that all of the refugees, migrants, economic migrants, whatever you want to call them, going into Europe is a complete plan. This is not, a lot of our progressives have said to us lately, when you go and bomb other countries, I think there was a specific comment that said this today, when you go and bomb other countries,
they say it every day, all day long,
then you realize that it is, you know, going to happen. People are going to be displaced and they're going to leave those countries. Now listen.
But here is your moment of denial.
Right. Here is the thing. What you don't understand is that the plot to go and bomb the other countries to destabilize them is tied to the plot to send all of these people to a country that isn't theirs. Whoa.
The UN document reveals from 2000 a plan to push massive migration. All of the European Union leaders are all on board, even your beloved Theresa May.
So, Leah, I have a question for you. Let's do a little Michelle questions, Leah, interview.
Oh, this is great.
This is going to be really fun. So,
at this point, this is where I really wish we had the microphone. That thing is power. I really want to go out and do more. Why didn't we go live with the microphone?
Well, because we were out with the pigs and I was afraid it would...
I want to do the microphone.
All right, no, here is my question for you. For our progressive and liberal friends that do watch us and support us, and we love you, but this is my question, so hopefully it may answer for you. If you wanted to send a lot of migrants and refugees to Europe, is there any other way that you would go about it other than destabilization and war? How would you get them there?
I would put an implant in their minds with a little radio.
That could work.
And it would, and I'd flip it on. And when I wanted them to start moving, they would just have to move because the radio would be a beacon and it would turn them into robots.
They kind of did that in some of the, this is our, I have a microphone that's in the bag like 2 feet away. They did that in some of the Divergent Insurgent series, right? They had implants in their brains. So movies, that worked. That works. It could work.
Yeah, that would be my first, my first one. The second one would be free pizza.
Free pizza always works. That's exactly, but however, how
lifetime free pizza if you migrate.
Well, they're actually kind of doing that. Free food equals free pizza.
Yeah.
But in addition to that, if you had just used the implants and the free pizza, it would work on getting the people there. But how would we explain it to everyone on the outside looking around why they were going there? We couldn't just tell people they were going for free pizza or they had an implant. What would be our explanation?
No, you could, because Africa, I don't think, has a lot of pizza. So
we would feel sorry for them. Make sure they had plenty of pizza. That's kind of important, you know. So, all right, that's a really good explanation. I'm really excited. I'm glad we had this interview. I'm glad we had this talk. The point is, if you don't see that the wars that sent the people over there is tied to, I'm like, are you serious right now? Okay, carry on with the article. Interview over. For now.
I'd also just say you can have everything free, and then that would bring a lot more people. Millions of migrants, mostly from Africa and the Middle East, have swarmed Europe in the last 3 years. And I've had some people say, really downplay the numbers. Somebody's like, it's only like 1 million people into the UK or something like that. Last time I saw, I'm going to get these numbers wrong. You can go ahead and correct me. I saw 4 million. That's kind of a
huge number. Do you guys know how big the UK is?
The result of what has been explained by world leaders as a war-driven refugee crisis. Yet at a United Nations document prepared in the year 2000, was rediscovered by WorldNet Daily. That's another news source. If you guys, where do you go to your news? I love WorldNet Daily. Reveals the UN was already promoting the notion of replacement migration. WND is WorldNet Daily. In Europe, with the support of Open Borders, non-governmental organizations, the NGOs that are shuttling them back and forth. This was already set in place in 2000. And notice this. Here's a question for you.
Oh, cool. I could just get the mic.
So if this was put in place in the year 2000, what happened subsequently after that?
They did it and it worked.
What year would that have started?
After 9/11.
Which was?
In 2001.
There you go.
Sorry, I thought that was understood.
It just took 1 year, dude.
It took 1 year to make it happen.
Okay, so this document that was really rediscovered, it's been out there, reveals the UN was already promoting the notion of replacement migration in Europe with the support of the NGOs and progressive politicians. The document was just called, and I did bring this up, and it's archived here.
We will link to it in the description.
Oh, the site can't be ranked.
We won't link to it to the description.
I don't know what happened to it.
We'll find it.
Right. Details the plunging birth rates across Europe and identifies a solution: mass immigration.
Now, they do, that's a very sly thing in case you missed it. What they were saying is, and this goes back to us telling you people to go make babies for your country, y'all ain't having enough babies. So they're saying we need more people. And this is guys, that is not why they're sending them. Because that sounds like a noble guy. Like a noble reason.
I'm skipping down for a second because...
Look at the cute baby!
Actually, this is a Guardian article.
I love that!
Which was in July 2017, which says, this was just this year, want to fight climate change, have fewer children.
Oh no! And then they show pictures of babies to tell people to have fewer children.
But last year, in January 2016, it says the refugee influx helps halt decline in Germany's population.
So what they're saying is, this is what they're saying. Because of climate change, we need to stop having more children. But the people in Africa can't help themselves. The people in the Middle East can't help themselves. And so we're not going to tell them to stop having children.
They do.
You know what, Leah? They're not.
They try really hard.
Because they really want to send them to Europe. So they say it, but they know that it's not going to work. It's not going to be effective.
Well, Mark,
so they're doing it to send them over into Europe. So y'all people can't have your children, but you can have immigrants that come over.
I am going to give them not necessarily the benefit of the doubt, but this is the way I believe that they see it.
Okay.
They do want the Africans to stop having children. They send people there all the time to give them birth control, and they want to push abortion. The Africans don't believe in abortion for the most part. I don't know if I've shown you some interviews. They don't, in some places in Africa, they don't even have a word for abortion. They wouldn't even know what it means. And a lot of the African women would rather have food and water. There was an interview with some BBC chick and an African woman saying, shouldn't all the African women have birth control? The BBC woman.
Well, she's like, show that.
I don't think I did. I showed you.
Oh.
And the African woman says, well, first of all, we want food and water. And she's like, but isn't that connected to birth control? Like, the more you keep having kids, the less food and water you're going to have. So we want you to be killing your children. And Macron just went out. Now, I know that some of you racist type-minded say the same thing. But this is their mindset on mass population and population control. They realize that they have told everyone in the West to stop having children, but they realize that the replacement rate isn't there. So what they do believe, and this is what they truly believe, is that there's too many people starving in Africa, so let's bring them up to be our slaves.
Yes.
See, it's a whole slave mentality all over again.
I'm with you and I'm agreeing with you, but the other element of that, besides bringing them in as slaves, is they are going to,
change
just like
the
you
culture.
Just like you would do with a slave, you would feed it.
Sure.
You would clothe it. You would, give it health insurance and housing,
especially
and things like that.
if it doesn't affect you,
right?
Because the government just keeps printing money,
right?
Okay, so this is their whole plan, and
how they really show pictures of those adorable children. I will take them, and then tell people not to have them.
It's this really weird trickiness. Okay, so this 17-year-old document contended mass immigration was necessary to replace the aging populations of developed countries. Without the migration of population from the developing world, it reasons economies will suffer because of labor shortages and failing tax revenue. Basically, they have repackaged, just as the cultural Marxism repackaged communism and said, well, we like some aspects of it, but we do know we have to change some of it. So we like some aspects of slavery, using people who are poor, people who we think have a lower IQ to work for us. Therefore, among the demographic variables, only international migration could be instrumental in addressing the population decline and population aging in the short to medium term. But I'm going to show you guys in my next segment how this plays out doesn't work.
Right.
These people are not being vetted. We told you before when we went live the other day that most of the people coming into Africa do not qualify. Coming in from Africa. Probably Pelosi. Come on.
Pelosi.
All right, coming in.
Like a little buzzer.
Yeah.
Pelosi.
So she's Maxine and I'm Pelosi when we make mistakes.
They'll catch on.
Yeah. So, anyways, people coming in from Africa, most of them wouldn't pass as refugees anyways. Over 170,000, close to 200,000 coming into Europe. Most of them don't count. And the reason we don't have the same kind of problems in America is because we have a giant ocean between us and them.
That's a pretty big deal.
And while we do have issues with the Mexicans, we've done a pretty good job about integrating them into our slave labor system. And so they do more, they already know, most of them already know how to integrate into Western society.
Leah's saying that tongue-in-cheek, by the way, in case that's
right.
not understood.
The Africans coming in, they don't even want to, I have an article in Sweden, they don't even want to learn to speak Swedish. They don't want to learn how to work.
No, why would they? If they can go over and get free everything, what would be the motivation?
So they're not going to pick your strawberries for $2 a day.
Right.
I'm sorry. That's just not going to happen.
It's not right what's happening with the Mexicans here in America either.
The report specifically targets the U.S., Germany, Britain, France, Italy, Japan, South Korea, and Russia as prime candidates for replacement migration, which is why Vladimir Putin celebrates Big Family Day.
Yes, he does.
It is not an obscure study written and then ignored, but a founding piece of the pro-migration agenda pushed by the United Nations, and I did read through it. I don't know why that link didn't work. The U.S. Chamber of Commerce and Open Borders advocates, following the publication of the draft of this study, the Population Division of the United Nations organized an expert group meeting on policy responses to population aging and population decline from the 16th to 18th of October 2000 at the United Nations headquarters in New York. Replacement migration was one among a number of possible policy responses that were considered.
But it's the one they went with.
Right. Attendees included the International Organization for Migration, a UN group that recently declared that mass migration is not only inevitable but necessary, and the UN Population Fund, a group dedicated to family planning.
I hate that word.
Contraception.
I have to tell you guys, this whole family planning thing does not mean what it sounds like it means, and that's what Planned Parenthood has always touted. It doesn't mean family planning. They need to call it planning against family.
Family unplanning.
Planning for no family. That's what it should say. They're talking about keeping you from having children and killing the ones you're already set to have.
It's so weird. Listen to this. Immigrants will not prevent the long-run aging of the population except in the highly unlikely scenario of a 10-fold increase in annual immigration levels. So what have we seen?
It's become highly likely. It's happened. They did it. They realized that it was a problem. So they expedited their solution, and they've accomplished it, or they're in the process of doing it.
Right. Michelle Bachmann also warned that migration from the Islamic countries is a vital threat to Western civilization. This is something that we have to be cognizant of and not afraid of. That's what I see in Minnesota. Too many people who are being afraid of being called racist, bigots, and Islamophobes. I'm not afraid of it, because what we've got to do is talk about the truth of the problems that are going on in Minnesota.
And there's a lot of problems going on in Minnesota.
A huge population of Somalis, and we just had that shooting in Minneapolis by the Somali cop of the innocent Australian woman. Bachmann said America should step up deportation in the country of people who are unwilling to bear allegiance to the United States.
And why is that so scary for so many people? If you won't bear allegiance to the United States, you can't stay here. And I was thinking about something. I want to plug a thought that I had the other day, and I almost did a video of it while I was walking dogs, because I saw a flag hanging outside of somebody's house, and inside of me welled up a patriotic feeling, warm fuzzies. I love my country, and I got to thinking of the social justice warriors and many of the kids popping out of high school, public high school, and colleges today hate America.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And they hate America because our history has been rewritten.
Totally.
And the children have been taught that we are equivalent, the founding of our history is equivalent to what like Hitler did.
Right.
Which is, and so I could understand you not being patriotic if that is what you're taught. And it's a crying shame because our nation is one of justice and liberty for all. The people that are in the government right now might not be people that you can be proud of. As a matter of fact, I'm not. But they don't represent my country. That's like somebody coming in and saying, I represent your family. No, you don't.
So, but here's the thing. More than 1.3 migrants applied for refugee status.
1.3 million.
Did I say million?
You said 1.3 migrants. That's all right.
1.3 million.
Pelosi.
Migrants applied for refugee status in Europe in 2015. 1.3 in 1 year alone. A record number, according to the continent. Now, read the numbers on these.
All right, an estimated 75% of Europe's asylum seekers in 2015 were young males, many without significant training or education. Among them were Gambian, 97% male, Pakistanis, 95% males, Afghanis, 80% male, Iraqis, 75% male, and Syrians, 71% male. And I got to tell you something. All right,
only 25% would find employment in the next 5 years.
Cowards, 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 and cowards, because any man that would jump in line ahead of a woman or a child is a coward. Those numbers should be reversed.
Unless they're an army.
Exactly. Exactly. And I don't understand. I love you guys are progressive, and I hate to keep calling you guys out, but I need to call out the areas where we see something different than you do, so you might be able to understand where we're coming from. Okay?
The numbers don't lie.
No, you can't make this stuff up. These refugees, it's not just because there's a massive influx. I've got to tell you, the Gambians are not 97% male. If they were, then that would make sense. Right? If all Gambians, if they were 95% male over there and only 3% women and children, you know what? I'm with you. Go ahead. Then obviously they could be 95% of the males. Come on. No, that's not how it works. It's not just because there's a larger male population. It's not because like the Mexicans who actually send their male husbands up here to work who send money back. That is not what is happening. They are sending in an army.
Well, you know why? But
their army is just going and mooching off the governments that they go into.
In Sweden, the government accepted 163,000 asylum seekers in 2015. A year later, only 500 were working. So, in their awesome feminist government, they are literally subsidizing 150.
You can just say the whole number because that's
some odd.
500 people doesn't count.
But here's the thing. Yeah, 162,500 people. So here's the thing. If you're going to try to change the racial demographics of a country, wouldn't it'd be easier to send in a bunch of males than females?
It's really scary. And so we wonder why rape is up in these countries.
Their big thing is, yeah, totally. That's their deal. In the Netherlands, 90% of the Syrian and Eritrean asylum seekers who entered in recent years remain dependent on social benefits. This is the difference between, and I understand that a lot of Mexicans here and illegal immigrants are on social benefits, but all of them, from what I have seen, they work, and they work hard. Right. We have a joke around here. You work as hard as a Mexican because they do work hard.
They are the hardest working people in America.
They do work hard. I mean, seriously, they do. They'll go up in the heat on the roofs. They'll put down the mulch at 100-degree weather. You have to give them that. Seriously, these people ain't even working. They're just there to be an army. Again, there's gangs come up here and they do bad things, but the Mexican people are not here to
by and large,
start
and we
an army.
see them every day.
We interact with them.
By and large, that's not why they're
not.
here.
They're here to
send money back to their families.
It's just two different animals. All right.
Well, don't do. That's not. You meant the actual comparison. Yes. I'm just saying, people on the internet twist everything.
PC police. So only 2.65% of migrants who crossed the Mediterranean to Italy in 2016 were deemed refugees out of 181,000, merely 48, and I told you that before. So we can go on and on and on. Migration, they say, was inevitable. This is what they have to do. We strongly condemn xenophobia against refugees and migrants, and we support the campaign to, oh, let's see, I want to show you this. So this was a short little clip produced by the UN to show people why they had to do this. This is not, this was planned. Right. This is planned. This should go viral. I should make it its own deal. So here you see the boats, right? It's planned. It's planned. It's planned. They supply the boats, right? They're telling people to come. Undocumented, discriminated, forgotten, smuggled, trafficked, missing, ignored, grateful, skilled, no, compassionate, maybe, hopeful, yeah, resourceful, ambitious, no, successful, no, human, yes. Migrants, 244 million are on the move. Migration is inevitable. Migration is necessary. Migration is desirable. For migration, the International Organization for Migration.
So tell me who it's desirable for, and tell me who it is necessary for.
So the French writer Renaud Camus termed it the Great Replacement, in which over just a few generations the names and places remain the same, but the people and their values change. The Roman Catholic Archbishop of Strasbourg recently stated in the French publication that France was undergoing such a replacement, pointing to the influx of Muslim immigrants and their high birth rates relative to the native population. Muslim believers know very well that their birth rate is such that today they call it the Great Replacement. They will tell you in a very calm, positive way that one day all of this will be ours. And I could show you so many videos of Muslims in England and France and Italy saying one day this will all be ours. And that sums it all up.
Because they know that it's true. If they can get over there, and I don't know how it works in your countries, but I do know here in the United States, if you have a child that is born here, that child is a United States citizen, and more often than not, the parents are able to stay with that child.
The only people sticking it out are Hungary, Poland, and I think it's Serbia.
Well done. And you know that we love you guys in Poland. We have a massive viewership there. So, all right, we're going to sign this off here. It speaks for itself, but I would encourage you to go and finish reading this article because I think it's really important. Which one?
One more thing. The big Italian family with Papa pouring vino and Mama spooning out the pasta down to an endless table of grandparents and nieces and nephews will be gone. No more, dead as the dinosaurs.
Which is absolutely true, and that is what is so tragic about this. It would actually be different, and a lot of people may, we've been called out as racist so many times I can't count now recently, which doesn't make any sense. If these people, these refugees, in the very least, if they came into, let's say, Italy, and they decided that they wanted to embrace Italian culture, okay, and become Italians that would, it doesn't matter what color your skin is, I don't care. I could care less. If you want to move to Italy and all of a sudden you speak an Italiano and you pour in the vino and you start in a vineyard and you hide your people and you take a siestas in the middle of the afternoon
and you go to church, Christian church, it's Italy,
then fine. All right, that's totally different, but that's not what is happening. They are taking their countries into these other countries that cannot support them financially or culturally, and they're destroying them from within.
Italy's Muslim population has gone from 2,000 in 1970 to 2 million today. All right, so we're gonna start off here, and I'm gonna take you to Italy.
We try to end you guys with hope. I have to tell you something. Things are gonna change. They have to change. It can only, listen, it's going to get worse, but then I'm telling you, people are going to start rising up. It's already happening in countries like the UK with Brexit. People standing up. There is a grassroots movement that is not going to stand for this for much longer. So this is Leah Michelle signing off for Resistance Chicks, where it is not just a conspiracy theory if it's the truth. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to Mass Faith 3 and Resistance Chicks. Ring the bell so you get notifications whenever we put out a new video. Find us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter. We love you guys. God loves you. God bless.
I was cold all alone, no place for home every day, so afraid, but you call